Welcome back to Down on the Homestead. Thank you all for tuning in, and also thank you so much for my subscribers. We so appreciate you guys. We couldn't do these videos without you. So make sure, if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button and the little bell so you make sure that you will be notified when we upload new videos. Also, click that like button. Super important. So today we are going to can some asparagus. I went to another local vegetable produce stand. Usually the one that we go to is called USA Vegetables. Fantastic produce and great prices. So they actually came up with a post on their Facebook that said they had asparagus for $15 a box. It's $11 or 11 pounds per box. So I bought 3 boxes, which is 33 pounds of asparagus. So I'm going to do asparagus several ways. I'm going to can it, and then I'm also going to freeze dry it. It's fantastic freeze dried, just as a snack. So I'm going to do both. So first, I'm going to show you how I can asparagus. Now, I have already washed the asparagus in some cold water, rinsed it off real good, make sure it's clean. And now we're going to take this asparagus. I know most of you guys know that on the end of asparagus, it's kind of woody, and you don't want that. So I just cut that off. Usually you can just snap it, and wherever it snaps is where the woody part, and if it doesn't snap, then it's okay, but I'll go ahead and take that out, put that in the, there we go. So I will do this, like I said, if it snaps. If it doesn't snap, then it's good, because these are actually really good. Smooth that off, and that looks kind of woody, so anyway, it'll usually snap right where the good part is versus the woody part. So I'm going to do this on some of these, and I'll bring you back when I am finished with this. Alright, so I should have enough. I'm going to do this first batch in quart jars. So first, I have to see, I know they're going to be too tall. So I'm going to have to just cut these down to like that, because you want an inch headspace. I'm going to save these because these are okay. I'm actually going to can these just by themselves, and you can make asparagus soup, all kind of stuff out of the little stems. Those aren't the woody parts, so those should be okay. But you have to cut these down so you have an inch headspace. That's important. Now, a lot of people will do these in pint jars, the really narrow, taller pint jars, but I have yet to find any of those in my area. So I'm just gonna do the quart jars, and also I'm gonna cut some in half and do those in pint jars. So it's a little time consuming because you just have to cut them down. So I said I'm gonna save those. The easiest thing to do too is to lay this sideways and put those in like that. But I also have to stand these up. This one's good by itself. And this one's really tall. And sometimes you just have to cut it down a little more. So it is what it is. Like I said, you can even take these little pieces And I'll show you once we get these full. Since the tops are real narrow, you can take these and shove them down in there and fill kind of as a filler at the top. So we'll come back and I'll show you how I do that. This is very time consuming. I ought to just freeze dry it all. But I really would like some just canned. So it's worth it. Or that's what I tell myself. No, it is. I mean, you know, if things get bad, when things get bad, whatever, however you want to look at it, when other people are eating rice and beans, we're going to have asparagus. So, going to add a little garlic in there too. So that will be extra good. All right, so there's a little trick that I use. So since obviously the bottoms are, well, not necessarily this one, but the bottoms are thicker than the top. So you have a bunch of mass at the bottom and not at the top. So you can then, can't just keep shoving them in there because it won't fit. You take the slender end and stick it down in there in the middle. So it fits really well. Just slides right down in there, and it's not near as hard to pack in there. It works like a charm. So just take that in the middle, push that in there, and it works. Just kind of work it down in there. You can get a little bit more in there instead of trying to cram these other ones down into the same way, and then sometimes you'll break them, and you would like to keep them whole if you can. I mean, if they do break, it's not that big of a deal, but I just like to cram them in there and they fit perfectly fine. So just like that, and just kind of work it down in there. Be careful so you don't break the tips off, but if you do, it's like not the end of the world. It's all right. There we go. That one didn't do too good. Just stick it on the outside normal. Now when you add water to this, you will see that when you debubble it, it'll give you a little extra room, and sometimes you can cram a little bit more down in there. So I just try to get as much as I can. Now after I do the quart jars, I mean, this is more than my husband and I would eat, like, you know, in one meal. This would be if, you know, our kids came over, or, you know, whatever. So I can fit one over there, on this side. I mean, you want it to be kind of pretty, so just kind of work it down in there if you can. There, I think that's probably enough. So that looks really pretty. All right, so now, like I said, I love garlic on our asparagus. Since this is a quart jar, I'm taking a big old spoon because you can't have too much garlic in anything. So I'm going to put a tablespoon. I mean, heck, I can put two if I want to. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Just do whatever you like. Got that. And I'm just going to do 1 jar because I don't want you to have to, this takes time. Since it is a quart jar, you want to take a teaspoon of salt, add that in there. Now you don't have to add any salt or any garlic, or if you want to add something else, that's fine too. Now this hot water is kind of hot, but it's not boiling hot. So I will just pour this up to about an inch headspace. Alright. And I'll take a little butter knife. You can use whatever. Usually I use a little bamboo skewer, but I forgot to get one. So I am just going to do this. Now remember, I said that when you debubble this, it makes a little more room, and you can put some more asparagus down in there. A little bit, not a ton, but you know, a couple of spears. All right, maybe. I got that pretty good. All right, there we go. I got a couple there. All right, that's good enough. All right, now, don't forget, you should always use a little rag or a napkin. I just use a paper towel. I wet it with some white vinegar, and I wipe around the rim, make sure there's no salt, no little pieces of anything, so your lid will get a good seal. So now I gotta grab my lids. Now I like the lids hot. You do not have to make them hot. Ball says you don't. I like to. It's habit. It's just what I do. So put the lid on. Take a ring. Make sure it's seated on there good. Fingertip tight. And I'll do the rest, and I'll come back when they're all ready. I got 6 quart jars finished. I actually can fit 7 in my canner, but it's getting late and I'm really tired, and this actually is very time consuming. So I'm just going to get these canned tonight. It will be 40 minutes for quarts. So by the time it gets up to pressure, and then you start your 40 minutes, and then it cools down, it'll be really late. So I'm going to get these in the canner, and we'll come back when it starts to vent. Now my canner, I have already got the water in it. I put 3 quarts of water, which is per the manual for this Presto canner. And I already put some white vinegar, and it just keeps my jars clean from the little sediments from the well water. So once I have that in there, put that lid on tight, and I will put that on high, and we'll wait till it starts venting, which is a steady stream of steam coming out of that. So we'll be back. All right, we got that steady stream going. So actually, I think it's been going for a couple minutes. So I'm gonna do 10, but it'll probably pop up that little thing in the back before then. But anyway, so we'll let this vent for 10 minutes, and we will come back and put the weight on. Alright, so there's 4 minutes left, but like I said earlier, I think it had been venting for a couple minutes and I was busy and didn't notice. So anyway, this popped up in the back, so I'm going to go ahead and put the weight on. Now, for my altitude, it is 10 pounds, and once it starts rocking, then we'll start the time. So we'll be back when it starts rocking. Alright, it is jiggling. So we will now start the timer for this quart jars for 40 minutes. And I will actually turn this down to about a 5. Now, this is from my stove. I just kind of know how my stove works. So I'll turn it down a little bit. If it starts to slow down, I'll turn it up. You just have to kind of play with it a little bit. And eventually, I'll get it down to like a 1.5 to 2. And that'll keep it a steady little rock like it is right now. Make sure it does not stop jiggling, because if it does, you have to start your timer all over. So we'll come back in 40 minutes. All right, 40 minutes done. Turn off the heat, and then you do not touch it. You leave it alone until it comes down completely, and when this drops down, then you can take off this. But until then, do not mess with it. Always open away from your face. Alright, so after opening the lid, I always let it sit for about 5 minutes. Alright, gonna take them all out of the canner and let them cool down. Garlic asparagus. Alright, I have my 6 quarts of garlic asparagus finished. Now I do have probably 15 more pounds to do. I'm going to freeze dry some of that. I'm going to do a different video on that. So far this is what I have. Just wanted to show you how to do this. It's really simple. It takes a little time to get the asparagus in the jars with all the prep, but you know what? Having asparagus on your shelf stable for a long period of time is pretty amazing. So let me know in the comments if you can asparagus, or if you have a different way of canning or a recipe that you might want to share. So just let us know, and make sure you like, subscribe, and click that little bell, and make sure that you know when we upload new videos. So thank you so much. Get your house in order, get prepared for whatever's coming, and have a good day.